everyone, welcome to the Tales from the Nusantara, a special program brought to you by the Malay Heritage Centre and supported by the Speak Good English movement. And today we will be sharing with you the story of Princess Junjung Buih, and Buih means bubbles. Now this story is written by Diane Kay and illustrated by E. Ramdan, and it is published by Bona Ilmu Popular. My name is June. I'm a reader, writer and storyteller. So let's begin. Two kings named King Padmaraga and King Sukmaraga led the Amuntai kingdom. They were brothers who led the kingdom wisely. There had never been any dispute between them. What about you? Do you get along with your siblings? Well, I hope you guys get along very well. Now, one day, King Sukmaraga announced that his wife was pregnant. "I will soon have a baby," he announced happily. And over here, you can see that they are definitely very happy and looking forward to the baby. King Padmaraga was happy hearing the news, but deep inside, he also felt a tinge of sadness. When will I have a baby? My wife and I have been waiting for so long. King Padmaraga, however, did not want to stay in his sadness. He prayed, asking for a child from God. "Dear God, please hear my prayer," he said every evening. Now you can see, he looks very sad here. Now if you were there, what would you say to the king to comfort him? Several months later, King Sukmaraga's wife gave birth to a pair of twins. A very merry celebration was held, and the people of Amuntai Kingdom were joyous. Now here are the twins. Don't you think that they're very cute? This made King Padmaraga even sadder. "Dear God, grant me with a child. I don't want a pair of twins. I just want a child, and a baby girl would be great for me," he prayed. Days came and went, but King Padmaraga's prayer was not answered. King Padmaraga did not have any other choice. This could be our fate, that we won't have a child of our own. But he continued to comfort his wife. He asked his wife to take a walk with him. They visited the great temple located just outside of the Amuntai kingdom. Now on this visit, the principal advisor of the kingdom, Datuk Pujong, and some guards accompanied them. Now here you can see that they are taking a walk towards the temple. When they came across a river, King Padmaraga saw that the water was foamy, and that means there were a lot of bubbles. And floated above the foam was a baby carried by the stream. Now what a sight that must have been! "My wife, look! Isn't that God's answer to our prayers?" King Padmaraga felt overjoyed. So did his wife. "Datuk Pujong, would you take that baby for us, please?" Now you can see here that a very cute little baby is floating on the river, carried by the foam. Datuk Pujong went into the river and tried to reach out for the baby. But every time he tried to reach for the baby, the foam would carry the baby away from him. It seemed that the baby avoided being caught. What a clever little baby. Suddenly, they heard the baby speak. "Don't take me this way. Send 40 women to pick me up and prepare a special blanket to cover me." Now you can see the baby is enjoying herself on the river. This surprised everybody. How could a baby speak? Do you think babies can speak? This must be a very, very special baby indeed. "What kind of blanket do you wish for?" asked the king's wife. "Well, a very special blanket that is woven in just half a day," said the baby. King Padmaraga ordered Datuk Pujong to go back quickly to the palace and find 40 women to help pick up this baby. Datuk Pujong ran as quickly as he can back to the palace. He then summoned 40 women to follow him. Please, all of you, please help prepare a special blanket. We need to help the king pick up a baby within half a day. Meanwhile, Datuk Pujong decided to hold a contest to find a person who could weave a special blanket in half a day. Half a day? Do you think it's possible to weave a blanket in half a day? Well, of course, all the weavers responded in dismay. And you can see that a lot of people were very interested. Datuk Pujong would not give up. If there is a weaver who is able to weave a special blanket in half a day, she will be appointed the royal babysitter. Now, the weavers felt a little bit more motivated. Now, who wouldn't want to stay in the palace, right? A half a day passed, but no weaver came forth bringing a blanket that was woven in just half a day. Datuk Pujong was feeling desperate, and suddenly a woman came to see him at the palace. "Sir, I heard about the contest. Here's a blanket that I managed to weave in half a day. Please do take a look at it and see if it fits the king's baby." Datuk Pujong examined the blanket. It was neat and beautiful, and the color was lovely. "What's your name?" asked Datuk Pujong. "I am Ratu Kuripan," she answered. And Datuk Pujong then appointed Ratu Kuripan as the future royal babysitter. So, they all made their way towards the river. "Let's go!" shouted Datuk Pujong. "Please be prepared. We need to help the king pick up the baby." Together, they went to the river where they found King Padmaraga waiting very anxiously. "There you are! Did you bring the blanket that was requested by the baby, Datuk Pujong?" the king asked. Datuk Pujong nodded in response, and he presented the blanket to the king. Slowly and very carefully, the king went into the river along with the 40 women, and he reached out to the foams and picked up the baby very carefully. "Look, little one, we've come to pick you up in the proper way," he said. And you can see from this picture here that the king is very delighted to be able to pick up the cute and very special little baby. Ratu Kuripan presented the special blanket to King Padmaraga. The king then wrapped the baby in the blanket and put the baby close to his heart. "She's so beautiful," the king showed the baby to his wife. "She is," she replied. "What's a good name for her?" And there you are. The queen is delighted to be carrying the little baby. "I shall name her Princess Junjongbue, as we found her floating on foams." King Padmaraga and his wife returned to the palace happily. King Sukmaraga welcomed Princess Junjongbue into the palace warmly. Now both kings have children of their own. There was no more sadness in their hearts, and they both continued to lead the Amuntai kingdom wisely and peacefully. The end. Well, I hope you have enjoyed the story and that you will continue to explore more tales from the Nusantara. Now, if you're interested in weaving, here's a simple activity for you. Now let's learn how to create a simple weave pattern like this. The materials that you will require are 2 pieces of paper of different colors. You will need a pencil. I will be using a marker so that you can see it clearly. A long ruler like this. You will also be needing a pair of scissors. Now this is a pair of scissors for children. If you do not have this, please get an adult to help you with the regular pair of scissors. Okay, let's begin. Take a piece of paper and fold it into half, like so. Make sure the edges meet. Now pay attention, this is the part that opens. Okay? So what you need to do is to grab your ruler, okay, along the edge that is open. Place your ruler and you draw a line from top to bottom. Okay, so this is what it looks like. And this is the part that opens. Next thing, you need to turn the paper around and start drawing lines again from the top to the bottom, but beginning from this line. Okay, use your ruler as a guide. And there you are. So your paper should now look like this. Okay, now for the next part, you need to be very careful because we will be using the scissors. Now we will be cutting along these lines, but make sure you do not cross this line, okay? So it's just from here to here. Right. Now you should have something that looks like this. You stretch it a little bit, you can peek through it. Okay, so now we're done with the first piece. This is the loom. And now we go on to the second part. So take your other piece of paper, like so, and we need to draw lines again. So take your trusty ruler to guide you. And again, you draw lines from top to bottom this way. So you will have a piece of paper that now looks like this. Okay, well, be careful once again, we will be using our scissors. So we cut along these lines so you get little strips. And there you are. Won't be needing this strip. So put that aside. So now you have little strips that look like this. Okay, and this is where the magic begins. Okay, this is your loom, so get your loom ready and we will now start our weaving. So take a strip like so, and what you need to do is then go up and down through the loom. So we go under and over, under and over. And there you are, that's the first one. And take another strip and now start in the opposite way. So we go through here, over, under, over, and under. Look like this. Okay, so you can adjust it. Push it to the side, and you can see that a pattern is starting to emerge, right? One more to go. It gets a little bit tight towards the end here, so be careful not to tear your paper. And there it is. And here is your beautiful weave design. Now that you've learned how to weave, you can create different designs using different colored papers. Happy weaving!